I think one thing I want to add to perhaps the assessment center question earlier, as well as just general Roche culture to tie back to it, because some of the questions coming in perhaps has relevance to this issue, is around, whether or not you as an applicant know what you would like to do. And what I mean by that is the fit. A lot of folks that work in a pharmaceutical industry in general, I think, have some sense of purpose, and I think that's similar in the diagnostic side as well. Healthcare industry is known for people that are joining because they have a bit of that attachment to helping others or providing that care. And I think at Roche it's more so that than perhaps other companies, right? Like we focus a lot on innovation, we focus a lot on ensuring getting access to patients, these medicines and technologies and diagnostic tools, etc. So I think as an applicant, you also need to ensure to ask yourself whether or not this is a good fit, whether or not you should apply for this program. And once you do apply, that you show that genuine passion, that it comes from a place of who you are in an authentic manner, because I think as a company we love diversity and we want to see it. We don't want it to be a cookie cutter. These are the kind of answers that a business perspectives candidate should have. These are the kind of, in fact, that's because there isn't a set of answers that you can provide that would actually fit and say this is, A, B, or C. So whatever, companies that you may have applied to in the past, programs that you may have applied to, or whatever it may be, does it fit with your story, and is it truly what you want to do? If this is just something, an additional application or something that you're sending out because MBA recruiting is stressful. There are limited number of jobs it feels like there's limited number of jobs at the time when you're recruiting, then, your stories aren't really going to portray that well, right? So I think I would ask those questions and determine whether or not it makes sense for you. And if it does, then definitely apply and show us how, you can be a good family member with us and how we can also work well together. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be good.
So, talking about the fit with the candidates and so forth, what would then really be those key elements that distinguish Roche's company culture? Susan, you've been with the company for 10 years. You really know it inside and out.
Well, definitely passion, right? And I heard Sumin say it a few times. I mean, we are passionate about science and our patients and what we do here. As I was walking over here and preparing to give this talk, and why have I been here 10 years? Because even on days where I have bad days, and I do have a few, we all do, but at the end of the day, there's this feel-good factor that I made a difference in somebody's life. Maybe not directly today, but something that I'm working on, and that's meaningful. And, sorry, I always get choked up when I think about this, but we were talking about that earlier in the videos too. But, I talked to different candidates or different colleagues that they had a parent, they had an aunt or an uncle or who's taken one of our medicines, and it takes on this whole new level of personal to them. And, it's really why we come to work every day. I mean, it may sound corny or cliche, but it's really true. And we try to put the patient at the center of all that we're doing, and that's why we're in business. And so,
and I just want to add, I just want to add two other ones that I think really shine through in terms of Roche's fit, and one is around integrity and the other one's around courage. It may also feel like I'm just citing stuff off of websites, but I think the reason those words are in there is because you can actually see it, in the company. And the integrity part is, for me personally, I had experience in regulatory affairs and quality compliance, all that kind of stuff, and seeing the side of the business where you have to deal with a lot of issues, it was clear to me that I always want to join a company that will do the right thing in terms of the moral, ethical, compliance, law, whatever it may be, making that right choice so that I can feel good, as you said at the end of the day, that my passion is being used for the right purpose, and it doesn't go to areas where it shouldn't. And we have frequent conversations on how we can push boundaries further on this for the pharmaceutical side, and similarly on the diagnostic side on personalized healthcare and personalized health solutions and all that kind of stuff where the drugs don't work on 100% of the population. So what is a way for us to be able to identify if it's 35%, that we can get those 35% and people know that it's going to work, when they get it, right? And as the candidates probably will know, if you go through our pipeline or our current products, we have a lot of products that are very specific for that purpose because we believe in doing that, doing the right thing. And along those lines is the courage part. I think the company is not shy of spending more time on things if that is the right thing to do. And it may be even, riskier to do it, maybe just because it's going to take longer. And I think that actually takes a lot of guts for companies to do. We don't sway from month to month or quarter to quarter because of financial results easily. And that actually, I think, is courage, which is kind of sad because I think a lot of businesses should look at, long-term goals and what they should do about it. But there are things that we discuss and have very big debates about on what we should do that will help us, in the short term and the long term and things like that. And I think oftentimes, we appreciate that the initiatives and the innovations that require us to be a little bit more different, that requires us to be a little bit more gutsy in order to push forward, we do. Sometimes it fails. Actually, many times it fails. Pharmaceutical development and diagnostics is not easy, but, we keep going at it. And that really, I think, distinguishes what working at Roche is like compared to perhaps, other companies.
Yeah. Well, and those core Roche values that Soo-Min spoke about, they like you said, they really mean something here. It's not just lip service.
Yeah.
So, and, for those of you who checked me out on LinkedIn or whatever, you can see that I was at Genentech before Genentech acquired Roche. And I've been acquired twice in my career, and both in the greater pharma space. And I can tell you that there's mergers and acquisitions and things are never comfortable, but I have so much respect for the way Roche worked with Genentech and evaluated, this is what Roche does, this is what Genentech does, what's the best for our combined future. And it was actually incredible. And rather than being terrified that I was the acquired company and I was about to get laid off, I was invited to go to different Roche sites and talk about what my team did and how we did it in ways of collaborating and working better together. And so I think that really sets Roche apart in it's our patients and our people, right? And that's really what makes the difference.
Definitely.